All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. Another evening, Unfiltered King podcast. We are here again where men and women talk to each other, not at each other. And so, thank you guys for spending another evening with us, man, having good conversation, unfiltered, raw, and the real between men and women. And so, we look forward to having another great show, man. Look, we had such a great conversation on the last one alone versus lonely. We decided to do a part two, man, to kind of jump into that topic a little bit more in detail and kind of identify some of the bad decisions, or if there are bad decisions that men make when they're dealing with that being alone and lonely. And so we definitely look forward to having the Queen on our crew to kind of dive into that and kind of diagnose that. But before we get started, man, as always, this is a team effort. I want to go around quickly introduce the team to those who haven't that's new with us. Starting with Frankie. Frankie, want to say what's up to the people?
Yo, what's up, people? How y'all doing?
Glad to have you back, man. Glad to see
Yeah,
you
man.
got yourself at least a little rest, man. So glad that you're back in the fold.
Yeah. A little sinus issues, man. Headache. Working too hard.
And this the season for it. So man, I'm glad that you kind of you're on the up and up, man. And
Yeah.
then of course, man, definitely not new to us, but maybe new to other people. We have the lovely Diana as a part of the show now. Only female on the crew. Diana, you want to say what's up to the people?
Hey, how's everybody doing this evening?
And Diana, look, I did not know this until it just really caught my eye. You have a hoodie line.
I had a hoodie on.
Oh, you had a hoodie line. Okay, no, because we always want to support each other on here, right? Like we all have our different things going on. And I saw some on social media, and I was like, I meant to ask you offline to be honest, but I'm like, hey man, if you still got that going, then we definitely want to make sure that we're supporting it. So, but needless to say, man, I'm glad that you're here, man, and I look forward to having a great conversation with you, man. Like I said, we really enjoyed the last one, alone versus lonely. We kind of diagnosed the definition of those words, the similarities, some of the contrast on it. And so I think today we're going to take it a little bit deeper. Alone versus lonely, part two. The mistake of staying to avoid being alone. Man, buckle your seatbelts in. You're going to have to look yourself in the proverbial mirror on here. Preferably if you ain't sitting next to her, if she ain't the one. You're gonna have to look yourself in the mirror, man, and ask yourself some real hard questions. So I look forward to the conversation tonight. Look, before we start, man, like I said, we look at ourselves as a family, man. We want to take care of each other, love on each other. Even sometimes we may have to hold each other accountable. And so before we get started, we want to jump into the vent session, man. We want to kind of see how everybody day was, check the pulse on it. And now we have Frankie back, man. We're gonna let my man Frankie step back into his spot.
What it do, UKP family? You know what time it is. So breathe in,
Woosah.
breathe out. You know it's time for the vent. You know how we do it, always on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a good ass day, to 1 being shitty. You know, we gonna kick this off. Miss Diana, vent for us.
Um, I had a good day today. I'm at like a 7, so
7.
I
Already,
think
even better.
my day was pretty good for the most part. It's raining here, but rain just makes me sleepy. So
No,
Mm,
hey, always. You
I
ain't lying
feel
about
that.
that. Man. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. Jay, what you got for us?
Well, you know what? I think I'm like at a 7 or 8. I don't. You know, sometimes when you get to a place where there's nothing bad, but you have to tell yourself, don't be on guard. Like if I'm honest, like be
Mm-hmm.
okay with things being okay. A lot of time we say, it's okay when things are not okay, but I think I'm learning something about myself to be transparent. Like it's okay. Like you don't have to have something to worry or stress about or things of that sort. And so I'm probably on an 8, man. I'm like down to this weather here, and it's late. It's dark at 5 here in Dallas, Texas, and so man, it changes my whole mindset around. I be wanting to find my bed sooner rather than later. So, But yeah, I'm about 7 or 8ish for today.
Right on, right on, right on. Man, me, how could I say? I'm probably like at a 3 or 4, man. I had some real bad stuff happening, man. So I did my little homestead thing, you know what I'm saying? I got my my property tax lower, got my mortgage lower, so I'm doing
Okay.
good, man. Supposed to get a check back. Got the check back, right? So the day I got it back, I had to go cash. I think it was that Tuesday, man. My head was hurting. So I tried to cash it that day and I made it back here in time, to get on and holler at y'all before I like, man, yeah, I can't do it tonight.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't cash it that day because they couldn't get in touch with the tax office. So they to verify the check, man. So bam, I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Get up in the morning, do it tomorrow. But like I said, all this time, I start getting this migraine, man, and my sinuses acting up and everything, man. So fast forward, I try to get up in the morning, I'm rushing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So I got the check in my pocket, my coat pocket. Something happened to my tire. I don't know what I thought I was going on flat. So I pulled over the side of the road and man, wind blowing all this other stuff. So I go check the tire, wasn't nothing wrong with the tire. So I get back in the car, I'm rolling. And then I hear the same thing with my tire again. So I park at the mall because that's where my job is, close to Mesquite, the Tony's Mall. So man, get out, I check the tire. It's like some thread or like a thick piece of rubber coming off. So I get my little pocket knife and cut that off. And then I go to put it in my pocket and I realize I'm like, hey man.
Wow.
So I'm thinking I left it at the house. So I was like, maybe I left it at the house. Maybe I'm tripping. This is that. So I get to work because I was trying to cash it before I got to work, but the tire shit messed me up. So get to work, do work, finish work, come home. I'm in the garage. I'm like, yeah, it got to be in here. Ain't in here, man. Ain't in the truck. I'm fucking pissed. I'm crying, bro. Because I ain't going to disclose the amount, but it's enough to make you cry.
Well, hopefully you call them and get that canceled.
No, hey, this, after all the crying and Nick was on my ass, man. Well, I don't think she was on my ass, but I felt I like, man, I fucked up today. So after we calmed down, we got up, and it was like today. Matter of fact, I was like, man, I said, this is what we're gonna call. We're gonna tell them to cancel the check. And we just gotta get another one reprinted, man. So, and that's what we ended up doing. Had to pay a $20 fee to the tax office for them to reprint. I went up there. I told them what happened, and me and the clerk lady, we laughed about it a little bit. Now it's over, but I was crying. But we laughed about it, and I got to wait another 2 to 3 weeks for the next check to come. And I said, yeah, I'm coming to pick it up. That way, when I pick it up, I can cash it, and I ain't gotta. I can swoop all things on and won't lose it again. So that's I changed it to like a 4 because at the end of the day, not that I know I'm getting another one, I can look it back at it and laugh. But boy, was I upset. And this also goes to tell you that's why you can't just leave that stuff in there, man. You got to get all this stuff out. This has been another great Vince session. And like I always say, talk to somebody, anybody, your barber, your best friend. Get a licensed therapist. Go talk to a professional if you can. Always, you got to get it out. You gotta vent. Back to you, Jay.
Yeah. Bro, I feel like a moment of silence. You know what I mean?
Man,
like,
boy, you talking about like, oh man.
Good thing in the long run, though, there is a solution. I know we talked about that other day. A lot of time, an issue happen, but we are bringing the other emotions that are hurt the problem, and then we all tangle in this emotional web. So, good thing that you dealt with the emotion, saw it through, but you can still kind of see
get back to the solution. Yeah, real talk, man.
But that's what's up, man. Yeah, I'm glad you got that out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
I'm a little torn for you. You know what I'm saying? Torn but happy. You You know what I'm saying? That is not the end all
Appreciate
be
that.
all.
I appreciate that, yo.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I always say, man, talk to each other. Don't assume anything. We rush into conversations all the time, every time. Even when we ask how you doing, we look for the response. I'm fine. I'm okay. But take the time to get to know the people around you, man. But with that said and done, man, look, I think if we set the barometer to be anywhere close to the last time we recorded this one, Frank, you missed a great one. I'm glad you're out. You're back in.
Yeah.
Alone versus Lonely Part Two. I'm going to turn it over to the lovely Diana. We're going to go a little bit more in detail on a specific area of interest that I think Diana and also maybe some ladies in the audience want to know and hear from men. Right? We still want to be on that tip, and so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Diana. We'll turn on our ears and minds and hearts and try to get as much information as you can out of us.
Yeah, good evening again. Our title is Alone versus Lonely Part 2, the mistake of staying to avoid being lonely. So essentially, a lot of times when these conversations are being had, it's always, why did the woman leave, and why did the man essentially not leave, if the tables were essentially turned to where that he may have been the one that was feeling lonely or physically feeling alone in a space with his partner, to where that he didn't feel seen, unheard. He didn't feel seen, he didn't feel heard, or he himself was the actual lonely party. So if that is the narrative that we're spinning, in a sense, why do you as men feel like that is a narrative? Why is it that the man is normally the one that stays in a dynamic that is not healthy for himself either?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think there are several answers as to the why, and hopefully we'll get to kind of explore them tonight. But I think the first one that I want to start with, Dan and Frankie, and it kind of piggyback from when we talked about alone and loneliness, and we were talking about the how they can be detrimental. A lot of time as men, we have not learned ourselves and got comfortable in in a relationship with ourselves. Like even saying that, let's just be honest, that sounds like you should say what pause and no homo behind it, right? But I think a
Mhm.
lot of time with men, we even gravitate to our fellas out of the fact of not wanting to be alone or avoiding being alone. So there goes the toxic masculinity right there, but it's just justified. It's cool. It's not exposed.
Yeah.
And so not learning to be with self and just kind of assimilating, right? Well, these people I grew up with, or this is my frat. So, we assimilate to these bigger pockets when we come out of that first community. So again, there you go. We never given any thought. And so that void we're just feeling that we should feel within ourselves and learning ourselves and growing ourselves, we're just filling it with the most convenient things around us. So by the time it gets to this woman that we like and we love and we down with, and she's checking all the proverbial boxes, we just default again. She just becomes another person that we'll just fill that void and things of that sort. And then let's not talk about the stereotypes that is found in the male community. Oh, she cooks, she cleans, she look good. Oh, she feel that. Well, just plug it in, you know. And I think that's to our detriment because first of all, we haven't learned anything by ourselves, and then quite frankly, what all do we know about that woman other than the things that we're looking at? So I think that's one of the first things is that not being able to have a healthy relationship within ourselves.
Yeah. I would say, just coming from the conversation we had earlier, and trying to feel my way through all this, it's kind of 50-50, man. Because men and women will go through this. It can also be like a bond trigger. Like,
A trauma bond?
yeah, we'll call it, yeah, that right there, trauma bond. And I wouldn't, well, I would say like a time or a I don't know how to phrase it, but those two probably been together for probably since childhood or maybe since
So
high school, maybe
comfortability.
yeah, there we go. Maybe since college, you know, and it's that deal where I know he here or I know she's here, so hey, we comfortable. And sometimes that comfortability might not necessarily mean togetherness. It's just tolerable type
Mm-hmm.
deal. In these type situations, y'all already know my UKP family. I already know I'm TV movie buff, man.
Yeah.
I equate it to a different world. We already knew Dwayne was gonna get with Whitley. We didn't know it was gonna happen twice. So let's key in on the first when they broke off the wedding the first time. You know, you get in that relationship and you feel like you feel alone or lonely, as a topic might state, as a topic states. And when you feel that way, you're gonna search for outside sources. Or you're not necessarily gonna feel from. Sometimes they're just gonna drop in your lap. And Dwayne found that in another fellow teacher who he could talk to, who understood his lingo of teaching kids and doing this and doing that. Well, Whitley was the exact opposite. But he loved Whitley, but she's the exact opposite. So I can't talk to Whitley about, you know, my students being a pain in my ass and this, that, because she just brushes it off and this, that, and the other. And she talks about her day and this, that. But this woman, I could say the same story. I could talk about my students and this, that, and she can relate, and she can also dish something back, and we can have this conversation, and you can lose track of time and this, that, and the other. And that's where the stereotype comes in is men are cheaters. But like I said, it's still 50-50 because a woman can do the same thing. You know, that man might not be listening to her, but she could find somebody that compares to what she's talking about and feel like, hey, this guy gets it. Same thing with men. This woman gets it. And then that display of you being together for that long period of time, and you find this over here, like, man, maybe I made the wrong choice.
I would like
And
to.
then you go back, my fault. I'm gonna finish my thought,
No, no,
and
go
then
ahead, go
I
ahead.
got you. And then you go back to, man, how do I break this off? And to some people, male or female, that's where the impossible task comes in. Knowing or trying to figure out, did I get with the wrong one? And man, I really don't want to break it off. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to cause turmoil in her life or my life. So I just stay around and forget all about that. Or cheat, one of the other options.
Yeah, I think we as men just kind of set some type of framework for this conversation because this is a conversation where, uh, for our audience, the women are asking us for answers and understanding. And I think the one thing that we have to do as fellas is get comfortable accepting accountability to words we deem as negative or wrong. Because I noticed something, and I'm glad it was experienced. It very much so is a trauma bond, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that trauma bond started could be, childhood and things of that sort. But I want us as men, and I know why we do it as men, because a lot of time when we accept that we're judged, we can't get that label off us for the rest of our life, right? So a lot of time we don't even want that to be on us because I'm gonna have to wear it forever. It's kind of like Hester praying. I'm gonna have to walk around with that on my chest forever. But I think if we're going to be serious about accountability, fellas, healing, maturation, all those things, is that we can't just wake up and just say the words and think that we're there. There's going to be something we have to accept, and I think that's a huge part of it. Because on the opposite end, I'm thinking about the females who are either manipulating it and using us in the wrong way, or the ones that Diana talked about on a couple of episodes ago that's standing there trying to help us, and we're hurting them, even if it's indirectly, because we're not owning our shit. And so, to me, I really do think that trauma bond starts when we were actually young. Like, think about it, with your fellas and your partners, even when your crew when you was little. Usually, it's not because of similarity that y'all together, other than you live together, your parents know each other. Like it's exterior things, right? So
Yeah.
that loneliness, that being alone is automatically filled in, or like when you have siblings, right? You don't have no choice, so you don't really know. Like I came up with, it was five of us, so being alone wasn't, and I have a twin sister. I didn't ever have to really deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a trauma bond because what I can't deal with later on in life when I have to deal with it, how do you think I'm gonna deal with it? Just fill a void. Hey, I had sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I had brothers, so guess what? Oh, frat brothers. Oh, just get with a female, just fill it in. And I don't think we understand the danger of that process internally, and also what we're doing to the women, like I said, that don't mean as well, or even the ones that we do it good. So I want us to kind of set that as a thing, fellas, that no, this is not us just being attacked, but we have to be comfortable with some of these things, even if it's not our intention. If we're dealing with accountability, yeah, that negative act was upon us, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question? Down, and that was, like I said, that was just the one I wanted to start with actual first, but I want to make sure that we answered your question.
Yeah. So to an extent, right? Because like obviously, if you go on social media, if you go on any platform, women are actually talking about their why on why they're staying.
Hmm.
So the basis of the woman, we're not talking about her why, because that's splattered everywhere.
Right, right,
This is solely for you men to answer. Um, that why the narrative of the woman of, if she cheats or whatever, that's not what we're talking about. Because essentially they always talk about why they leave. Like
right,
that is,
Yeah.
right.
there's so many TikToks that women are leaving their partners for
Yeah,
whatever reason, but I don't. Men aren't going out and doing that. You're not
yeah.
communicating that.
Nah.
You're just staying, and like
So let
once the woman goes off
The
and talks about how you did her and this, that, and the third, you're just sunken like in the back somewhere. Like
yeah.
I'll give you an example. Of this lady I was talking to a couple of days ago, before I thought I had this topic come up. And basically she had a friend, one of her closest guy friends, essentially. He's married uh to I think he's high school sweetheart or whatever. And like you said, time, right? Essentially, you've been with this person for from high school, and then 10 years later, you have two or three kids. And but essentially, that he's doing the bulk of everything. Like he goes to work, he comes home, he cooks, he cleans, he takes care of the kids, and he makes sure everybody in the house is happy. But then what about him? What about you? Like, what does that do for you when you're still not, you're doing absolutely nothing for yourself, but you're literally doing everything for everybody else in that dynamic? So is that how life is supposed to be for you? For you to just
Okay.
go, from day to day, and you make sure you take care of everybody in the house, but who's taking care of you?
So let's. I'm glad you opened it up. So I was sitting in the cigar lounge one day, and I was
Mhm.
talking to this older guy, and he was just talking about marriage, couple relationship. We was actually talking about the podcast, and this young guy, he was probably about 39, 29, 30. He came in and sat down, and you could tell he wanted to be in the conversation.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, he kind of just stayed back and listened. And as we kept talking more in detail about relationships and men and women working together versus against each other, he just opened up, y'all. He just opened up. He said, "I'm tired." He said,
Mhm.
"I'm tired now because I don't want to go home." He said,
Mhm.
"Why don't it hurt us? Like,
Mhm. I
'cause
bet.
we thought he was just a fly on the wall, and you know
Right.
how when someone interrupt, but it's like, oh shit, like he need that space." He said,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
"Why is it?" And I'm trying not to get emotional now. Damn, like I want to tell the story, but he said, "Why is it that I pay all the bills, I make sure everybody else happy, and I have nobody in the household
Mhm.
to make sure I'm happy?"
Mhm.
And this is why I think, like you said, we need this space because we always talk
Right.
about toxic masculinity. being
Mhm.
taught the wrong way of what a male is. And I think
Mhm.
as men, we have to unlearn. In order for us to give you a true answer, Dana,
Right.
we have to unlearn. And the older we get, we start we start understanding and identifying around the misteaching. And it's
Got you.
hard. It's like I said, it's almost like I say, your name not Frankie. Frankie's gonna
Mhm.
automatically argue back, man, my name. It's a natural reaction. And so to me, unlearning this unhealthy a mindset that in some places we have been celebrated in
Right.
society. Some places we have been
Yes.
told that's what a man is. A man's
Mhm.
job is not to just act as an ATM or a butler or what have you. But a lot of times at an early age, we take that pride on to watch this. The reason why we don't ask ourselves that question, because guess what? Our emotions go out the door. We become robots. We
Mhm.
producers. We become this factory line of paying bills, making sure everybody's happy. And then guess what? We're rewarded. And hear my term when I use this. I'm using societal's terms, and I hope I hope my audience understand this. To when we find our trophy wife or our trophy person, we're just happy we got it.
Right.
You don't even question it, right? Like I said, the toxic masculinity. She look good, cooking, clean, and whatnot. We don't even we don't even go that deep, right? So
Mhm.
we just have another purpose to do all this stuff. And what happens, we're not getting to know ourselves. And if you don't know yourself, then you don't necessarily know what's good or bad for you. And so, like you said, the world always celebrate the good woman. But I read
Mhm.
on Facebook, it's a gender thing. What about the bad?
Mhm.
Like you said, you'll never hear them in the conversation. You'll never hear
Right.
conversations about bad single mothers,
Mhm.
but good single mothers are celebrated. Well, what about the single fathers out there,
Mhm.
right? And so I think in not knowing ourselves and how men don't deal with our emotions, you're not supposed to say that. Think about that. You're not supposed to give your own self credit. You're supposed to
Mhm.
accept and live in a society. If you do, and then I'll take it one step further. Some women, I dare say, will say you're weak.
Mm-hmm.
Operate in your
Yeah.
emotions. Let's be honest. Me and Frank, we talk about this on other podcasts. Love all our mamas out there, but mamas, can we admit that you made a mistake when we was little and you said, "Suck it up, be a man"? Because if the first woman that I love taught me that, I'm not gonna question when any woman else in my life. If the first woman that I ever loved has a problem with me expressing my emotions, come here, queen. Let's understand. If you want to understand this, it's not you. My first woman that I loved had a problem with me showing emotions. How am I supposed to understand that you want me to express what this woman has taught me and prided me on? You don't show that. And then on the flip side, if there are areas in life early on where me not showing emotion equates to what the world says a man is, I'm celebrated, Frankie. We're celebrated. And let's not talk about the uncles and even sometimes the fathers who celebrate us just plugging women in just to feel that alone at an early age. So long
Mm-hmm.
story short, again, as I always say, these are not excuses, but these are real reasons. By the time we get in that real functioning community with our, the matured relationship, I would say,
Yeah.
long story short, fellas, a lot of that information just not there. Because we don't sit around and talking about it in our circles and things of that sort, right? Again, a lot of time we're around our fellas because how many times you hear a fella say, I don't want to go home?
Yeah.
We normalize not going home with our significant other, and to fill that void, we're here with the fellas. Gambling, alcohol, there's a number of things we filling in. So until we are able to have a space and be honest with ourselves and have accountability, to have real conversation with ourselves, and then just have real conversation in our community, it's always going to be looked upon as it's just a man thing to do until our female counterparts want to know the why, and we're stuck. Because if we talk about it, I go back to the trauma bond. Some of this
Mhm.
stuff I've probably been doing His mama saw me scratch fall down off my bike and said, "Get up, suck it in." Or if you're in the house, a lot of times in our black families, if you're in the room by yourself, get out and go play with your friends. We don't
Right.
learn how to operate in our alone time. We don't learn how to build a healthy relationship within ourselves, right? If we go somewhere with the family, get out there with your cousins. And not saying all that stuff is bad, but there has to be a balance. All this stuff down has been cut off when it comes to men or boys. And we don't see it. We make it so innocent in our culture. We give reason to it. And that's why I was telling Frankie, like, no, let's go ahead and say it. That's a trauma bond, right? You always need. We talked about on the last one. Remember, God get that one great girl, mess up with it. He go search for every that girl and every female. That's a
Mm-hmm.
trauma bond.
Mm-hmm.
Never heal that bond, so now it has become a trauma, just like cancer. And you never get that cancer out of it. What's going to happen, right?
Yeah, it's gonna
So
grow.
to me, we have to get back to having just honest conversation, man. And like we said again on this podcast, when you talk out of that gender bias, I think a lot of time men are afraid that a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that they are taught is just wrong, right? We should have permission that we with somebody that's not good for us, and we got this manly thought, like I told you about our boy. I'm just gonna stay because, kind of like Frankie said. Well, man, I'm just gonna stay because it's no. You keeping yourself in an unhealthy environment.
Yeah,
There's nothing about being a man about putting yourself in an unhealthy environment and mentally manipulating yourself. That is,
Mm-hmm.
I
like
would
you,
say
yeah,
the real culprit to this conundrum is the kids, or you know, that's my child, or sometimes uh, women will stretch the truth a little bit, like, yeah, this your kid, and then you find out years down the line, or whenever you do, that ain't your kid. Now you just wasted years of your life with this woman, with the kid that's not yours, and man, that's even more trauma. But we get bring that up. We gonna put a pin in that one. But for the majority of it, it's always the kids, man. For women, it's easy. It's easy to walk away because guess who's gonna get custody? The mama.
that's another reason. Yeah, yeah.
Men
So,
have a harder fight, have a huge uphill battle. I ain't talking about like deadbeats. I'm talking about men that actually want to be in their kids' lives, will have a huge uphill battle, especially if they married or uh got a woman got the wrong woman pregnant, married the wrong woman or got the wrong woman pregnant. It's a huge, hard, difficult fight. And I often tell guys, you got to fight that fight because you cannot let that kid not have you in their life. Uh, that's that's my one thing, man. My parents got divorced for hook or crook. My dad, oh man, my mom took us to Houston. Guess who showed up? My dad. You know what I'm
But
saying? So
I want
it's
it's something that you did that I hope the audience saw, and it shows how us who have been taught right, we do it without even noticing. And Dan, I don't even know if you noticed this. And Frankie wanted just to say what he said, but I'm pretty sure, and Frankie, correct me if I'm wrong, because he's a guy, and we talked about that, we have to watch what we say. It is that simple, and because here's the reality: it's Unfiltered King podcast. We don't beat up on gender. That's what we stand for. But even still, on a podcast that prides itself that we don't do that, it is instilled in us sometimes to have to give a disclaimer for the real truth. And so I want to point that out when we looking at ourselves, even with Frankie and I and Carla, we talk all the time. We had a young lady who looked at our podcast. The first thing she told us, she said, "Why you all apologizing?" And guess what we chopped it up to? Respect. And no, we don't want to disrespect. No, you're telling your truth. Because like you said, you can go on social media. And I don't no disrespect to the good men. But guess what? Women are going to tell their truth. And
Mm-hmm.
so again, we have to bring that to a balance and normalize that on both sides. Like where I was, that's a human thing. No, the reality of it is we know about deadbeat daddies and all that. But guess what? Usually in society, what Frank was alluding to, men usually are not taken to having the bond of their child the way a woman is. Because of those who do walk out of life. But that's not what we're talking about. What about those who love their children, period? Well, you married, one night stand or whatever. I love my child, right? To Frankie's point, why would we have to put up a more of a fight for the same love that you have as a woman? You see what I'm saying? We're already
Yeah.
in the dysfunction. Like, I want to make sure we make that plain. And usually that's what men, and sometimes to our fault, again, out of our ignorance or sometimes out of our stupidity, we are already in the fight. And that's why it becomes challenging to ask these questions, to answer these questions. Because honestly, if we're honest with ourselves as men, we're fighters. Again, we're supposed to just do. Oh, what the child
Right.
just do and provide. We've never asked our own self. And quite frankly, sometimes it's too late. Right? Child is here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be looked at labeled. I don't want to be looked at as a bad father. No, you can be perceived as a bad father because there are certain laws that allow a woman to put you in a position to look like a bad father.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Hey,
That don't have nothing to do with your desire. Now, are there options and things that so you can do? But no.
let's talk about this too, Jay. When we talk about perception, you know, perception is we see such and such going through what he going through. We hear such and such telling you like, man, God, they went on my gross pay or no, they went on my net pay. So like, man, I ain't like they taking damn near all my money. Like, man, like my net pay, man, I ain't gonna have nothing to pay the bill. I gotta get this, that, and the other. So bam, they go like, okay, yeah, I gotta stay because
Another
I don't want my check looking like his check. I don't want my check looking like his check. Yeah. You look, hey, I'm getting this nice $2,000 check. He getting $800 because his $2,000 check, shit, Chesapeake. Hitting his ass. You know what I'm saying?
And stand on that family dynamic, Diana. And again, wherever you want to intervene in here, just let me know. But
yeah, so essentially, I get that, right? The stand because of the kids, but again, even that is detrimental because essentially those kids are not stupid by a long shot. They're very, very smart. And they're very, very observant. And one thing I know about kids is they don't do as you say, they do as you do. So understand that even staying in that type of dynamic can hurt your kids in the long run because guess what they're going to do? They're going to grow up and go into the same type of environment. And in their head, they're going to say the same thing you said. Oh, this is normal because my parents did this.
Come on.
So even that in itself is even worse. So I think a lot of times people don't think about the kids. They just think about what they want, right? Instead of being selfless, you're being selfish. You're like, oh, well, I gotta stay because I don't want my check to be $500. Well, guess what? Sounds like you should have thought about that before you went over here and knocked this old girl up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, or you know what I'm saying? You should have put things in place. And sadly, you shouldn't. A lot of those things you shouldn't have to do. But if we're being honest here, sometimes you have to take precautions because essentially if stuff does go to, that bad place, then guess what? She's definitely going to take you through the ringer because guess what she's doing? She's coming out of a place of hurt. So she's going to make sure she hurts you. And how is she going to hurt you? Through the one thing that she knows she loves more than her is the kids.
Hey, Diana, my dad used to say, this all the time. The only way to hurt me is through y'all.
Oh
That's what he
yeah,
told
most
me in my.
definitely.
Only way to
And
hurt me
women
is
know
through
that.
y'all.
They know that 100%. So guess what? That's exactly what they're gonna do. And then you're
Yeah.
like, "Well, she was never like this." Well, guess what?
At the end of the day, and this is to the audience. At the end of the day, and I think we gonna go into this area.
Hmm.
Like I said, this is for the audience. At the end of the day, and this is how my realistic thinking goes: is we all have demons, or however you want to say it, demons or crosses to bear. This is that, and sometimes people might perceive this battle is less worthy than the battle I'm fighting that's higher than that. So that
Hmm.
whatever battle they fighting might be higher than that little battle they got. Like, should I stay with my girl? Should I leave? Are the kids gonna hate me for doing this? Or is it gonna be that? Or sometimes that is the battle,
Hmm.
and say father ends up leaving. And now you gotta figure out, okay, yeah, I'm leaving. You tell your kids you do this, you do that, and now it's a big deal. Like, well, nah, you're not getting custody, or I'm moving here. Well, damn, wait a minute. If you move there, how I'm gonna get to, or how we gonna? Yeah, I don't know. You got to figure it out. This is well. Wait, like, hey, wait, whoa. Like, hey, shouldn't you stay somewhere neutral where we can both, I could be able to get to the kid? That no, because I got things over here. It's like, man, how we say it in when you pledge, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
But can,
But so it depends, right? And I think even that notion can be scratched because there's laws in place for that scenario too. I mean, the world has shifted in so many ways. What laws were not available to men back then that are now available, that notion should not be a thought anymore. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be the father or the parent you want to be, you're going to make sure you do what you need to do, unfortunately, so that does not become a thing. Most
I'm
times you have to require both parties to say yes, you can move out of state. So you can't just
Mm-hmm.
up and fly off to Texas, you know what I'm saying?
And
There.
that's where the
so
perception and reality come, because does it always play out that way?
But
so let
that's why there's this thing called research or Google, because
so
at the
let
end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, that to me, that you can't even utilize that anymore either, because there's too many outlets to tell you what you can and cannot do.
Do
If
yeah.
I
so,
if I look up online right now, okay, laws in freaking Virginia, you know what I'm saying? All those things come up on what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And if the man is ignorant or the woman is ignorant to that, then that's why there's court systems to kind of help you, do that. But a lot of people don't want to spend the money to do that. They just want to be like,
Oh,
oh,
hey,
okay,
yeah, no,
fine, take the
no,
kids,
hey,
and
that's
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
part of the uphill battle too,
but
man.
Right,
let's
Is
yeah.
paying those lawyer fees and
let's
finding
Hmm.
somebody that'll have, like, hey man, help me out because I really
but
want to be in
let's
Right.
my kids' lives.
let's put some nuance on this though, because the thing we're talking about, everybody in our audience, they fall in a particular place. So I want
Right.
to make sure we put some nuance on it, because you'll have men and women who are the culprits using
Hmm.
it as a victim standpoint. So I want to give a clear disclaimer and really speak on this, because in all honesty, I've been through it. So I'm
Hmm.
speaking from experience, right? So let's back all the way up, because I believe, and you heard me always say, when you're dealing with M through Z, yeah, you can benefit, get through, but you're already screwed. Let's go to A. And this is why I want to tell us as men, we have to swallow our pride and
Hmm.
ego and
Hmm.
deal with us. Before Frankie said something, but no disrespect, before I worry about her attitude and her,
Hmm.
I know it about myself.
Right.
Before I worried about, and I know we ain't all perfect, y'all. We don't all make,
Hmm.
but as men, we can't use that as an excuse. There has to
Right.
be a starting point of accountability, of learning, of awakening, of maturity, whatever we want to use. In the first place, it has to start is here.
Mm-hmm.
Too often we have been given credit, we give ourselves credit, and we like being pat on the back for bad processes because the outcome is good. So let's just be keep it 100. When we laid down
Mm-hmm.
with her, the outcome was
Yeah.
good. I hit.
Right.
The process is 18 plus years. See,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't want us pros and cons, good and bad. No, there is a chance, and I'm speaking even to our young men out there who haven't had a child yet. Yeah, we know
Mm-hmm.
we're in this situation, it is what it is. But I want to speak to our men out there who haven't made the mistake. There is a time where you can be more proactive than
Mm-hmm.
reactive. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
And reactive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be about the sex, wrap it up. Like I know that sounds cliche. Like we give our power away because I think with men we don't realize we got to talk and be hard and not say no, bro. Look, I don't know. Hey, I messed up on that. Hey, I was taught wrong. Hey, Uncle them what I celebrate, they were celebrating, they was teaching me. Like we have to be real about those conversations, or else none of this is gonna help us. It's just gonna be used as an excuse. So
Right.
that's the first thing when we start. Number two, depending on what state you are in,
Mm-hmm.
you have the generic third, fifth, and seventh weekend, every other holiday. But in a state like I don't know about Virginia, but if
Mm-hmm.
any man done tried to take care of his child in the state of Texas, it's deliberate, and you know why? Because it benefits the woman because it
Mother.
justifies our Republican government to give for numbers and things of that sort. And I won't even go off into that. So it
Mm-hmm.
really does. And I'm gonna quit qualifying my words, but no, in certain scenarios, it really does come down to because you have to now look at the reality. And that's why I said let's get some nuance. Let's keep
Mm-hmm.
it up. Now, if you have a ass job and you got the excess money, hey, do what you do. But let's keep
Right.
it honest. Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to court, again, state of Texas, I don't know about everybody else, everything is on the guy's dime.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no,
I
no,
agree.
whatever. Number two, if you already paying child support, let's just say one child. Let's just be real. And here's why I hope my we're talking about the good men and the good women.
Mm-hmm.
Understand there's a limitation to anybody's budget. It don't have nothing to do with me not wanting to take care, and I don't care.
Right.
See, a man, that's that toxic masculinity.
Right.
If I can't do that, mean I no, that don't. That mean I have to make a business decision because there's X amount of dollars coming in here and on X amount of dollars coming
That's
out of there.
going out. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna lose some friends, but we're gonna talk about it. If I
Right.
have to wait until that child gets mature enough, and we're gonna have that conversation, and God, you know my heart. Like Donna said, to put yourself in a bad situation in the name of anything, it doesn't make sense because the child is watching and seeing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that child gonna have their own set of questions. Yes,
Yep.
like Frankie said, some of them can be influenced by the mother, but and we know that. Been done through that. But one thing I know about the truth never goes wrong, but the
Mm-hmm.
wrong can never be justified as being right. And I think we as men, we don't stand on it a lot. We let our pride get away and we just start accepting these battles and like you don't have no, you don't. And even if we make a mistake, and I'm not saying any child is a mistake, but if we didn't
Right.
handle it the right way, I can
Mm-hmm.
still have to sit up and say, what's in the best interest for me? Because guess what? Even if something, God forbid, happened to that woman, or if that child want to know the truth, I got to be there, not like Diana saying, giving him my lies, justifying it, creating a
Right.
generational curse. I got to be there and just hear the hard truth.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope he don't turn against me and accept the truth, whatever. But one thing I'm gonna give my child. Think about when we talking about the material thing. You know, the
Yeah.
best thing to give your child truth and an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to not make the mistakes you made.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And until we get shit with that, because men, we don't talk about that. We automatically default. And a
Yep.
lot of times we go those extra routes, causing more harm than good to ourselves. That's why we get bitter. Because look, if you struggling and whatnot, ain't no happiness in it. I remember going to, I won't even call their name because I don't want to get sued. But it was a
Mm-hmm.
predominant organization that man was gonna help men and fathers get everything rolled out. Dana, Frankie, when they quoted the number, man, look, and I was one of them on full disclosure,
I ain't got
no disrespect. Hey, I'm not gonna be a bad father. I'm gonna tell you, I think I did it for 3 months. I suffered more financially in those 3 months, so I had to back up. Like, wait a minute, James. You are, first of all, God knows where your heart is at. Number two, you're gonna love your son no matter what. So the
Right.
only mind trick you playing on yourself, and guess what? It don't happen just like that.
no.
And watch this. If push come to shove and something happen to that child where they got to come stay with you, guess what? Your resources tied up in.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get them back. Yeah.
Get this Superman thing off I had. And a lot of time our female counterparts to what Donna just said, they know it. So they'll play that role because they know. And that's what and that's so messed up that good men go through that ringer, but good men, we sometimes become too good of a good person. Heal yourself. The first relationship you will always work on and will always be in is yourself. And I think a lot of time when men look at relationship, they think of emotion. They make it a weaker thing or a woman thing. No,
Mm-hmm.
before you get in a relationship, I'm gonna go back to something Frankie said. Do you have an attitude problem? Are you a good guy? Well, if you're a good guy, women, I know you're gonna agree with this. You have yourself a standard. You ain't for to be married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you can ever make 100% decision all the time, but do mean. But you know what our standard sometimes is on, Diana? Our cars, our money,
Mm-hmm.
looking our clothes. No,
Materialistic things.
that's
Yeah.
on us. We have to get to the point where we say, you know what, I'm better than that. You know what I'm saying? And even if a child does come involved, I'm 110% with Dana. That is not a hostage or that is not a determination that you have two miserable people because that
Mm-hmm.
grow up, they're going to realize one or two things, the truth and make their own decision, or the more important thing, what Dana said that I don't think we take seriously, they learn the bad behavior from us and they enter into the same type of toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship. Yep.
We got to get serious about these conversations. I think a lot of time down the ring is challenging because we're so used to having these conversations against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, think about it. If I'm a good guy and a woman messed me up, well, now I have to have the conversation about a bad woman. But then
Right.
some Frankie said, well, I can't really say it because I'm a gentleman, whatnot. Like where I was saying, making a
Mm-hmm.
human thing. It's bad men and it's bad women.
Bad women. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to make decisions. What got us in the I almost cussed. What got us in the messed up relationship in the
Hey,
first
we
place?
unfiltered, baby. Go ahead and say shit.
Right? Think about it. Like, how we gonna
Yeah.
worry about our child and what got us if the relationship is bad and my ex cheated on me? What got me in that situation in the first place? Being naive.
Mm-hmm.
So how did
Allowing.
the child go? That don't make sense when you just think about it. That's an excuse, fellas. Because watch this. Down here's the thing I'm gonna tell women if you're listening. You know what the real damage it is? There are certain things when you label a man, when you say it, it cuts us like a million knives. Children, elderly people, and women. You ask any real man, when you associate us with something that damages one of them in the negative, we will put up a fight even if that's not us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't even want our name in the sentence. And I think a lot of this damage does subconsciously when you say, hey, watch this. A baby daddy, a bad father. A real man don't even want their name in that. And a lot of time, men, guess what? You'll start running up that damn hill defending what's not even there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna get a lawyer and all that. And again, if you got it, if you got a way, hey, go for it. So I'm not
Go
knocking
for
it.
it. Yeah.
But let's be honest. Let's be 100% honest. That ain't a lot of men's reality. So when women look at men and why they not in their father's life and their child life, you don't know. No disrespect. The same way ain't in your child life. You know what I mean? Like
Hey,
let's
we
be
unfiltered,
fair.
baby. Hey, go.
Let's
Say
be
it.
fair. You know what I
Say it.
mean? And
Yeah,
then
go on, say it.
to 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 the bigger point, and that's why I wanted to kind of give nuance. Watch this. Money don't fix everything.
You don't.
It
It
don't.
doesn't.
I remember when I finally got, boy, I hope I don't get emotional right here. Shit. My son lived with me up until 6 months old. He was my fucking pride and joy walking out that door and when I come home. If Jane wasn't in his swing of sleep, I'm going into his room because that was my spinach. That was my Popeye spinach.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
keeps going. Yeah, no,
6 months, his mother, no disrespect,
real
and
shit.
but we got to talk what we talking about. 6 months, his mama decided to go live with her mama because they had a ploy to get the government check. I don't know nothing about government assistance. I don't know. I
None of
know
that.
that's my son. I love him, and an ass whooping come with it if you mess with him. That's my mindset, right? Not glorifying from the hood, but I grew up in the hood. So in 6 months, I come in, my son gone. I get a
Mm-hmm.
call. Come downtown, bring your check stubs. Now, y'all, you may laugh at me, but this is the God honest truth. I'm thinking that when you get a child, your first child, you have to prove that you can take care of them to determine what type of income or government assistance you get. So I pridefully, what? She ain't where I got it. Toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Don't celebrate this. It sounds good. Oh, she ain't work. She'll stay home, mom. I got this. Man, look, I'm working overtime, bust my boom. I go downtown. Never forget this. This elderly lady was sitting at a desk. I was talking so dumb. The lady said, "Sir, come with me." Never forget. I will never forget this. This lady sent me around probably one of the biggest damn wooden tables I've seen in my life, kind of like in the movies. She said, "Son, you don't know what you're down here for, do you?" I said, "Yeah, I can afford my son. I don't really need no help." Toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with me. This ain't for me to be celebrated. She said, "No, son, I don't have nothing to do with that. They're saying how much child support you have. No, my son don't need child support. I got him. He good." Toxic masculinity. I didn't see my son no more until he was 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
The next time I fucking saw my son, it was over my mother's house. And my mother called me and said, "We need to get over here now. Mama called, you gonna make a move."
That's right.
When I saw my son, my son cried till he started having problems breathing because I was a stranger to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell this story on this podcast for your sympathy, but female, when you try to just think it's so similar, yes, men don't show the emotion, but men have emotion too. Could you fucking imagine your junior look just like you? 6 months to 2 years? And when he's new to you. 6 months, I'm working. He's still literally new to me, and I finally get to. You can't give me that damn permission
Can't give you that time back neither.
to where he cried so hard. You have to get him back to the person who fucking hurt you because you love him so much. You don't want him to keep crying because he literally can't breathe. So now you got a love in you that you got to find a gimmick, like a pacifier, some shit, just to show this love. Quit making the shit about gender. You're asking the right questions, but you're missing the interpretation of the real answer because if James said that pain is not necessarily hurt, but if a
Right.
mother said the same thing and his father did the same thing, he's a deadbeat, that we understand it, and let's celebrate her, let's pull our hands around it. And like Frankie said, the reality is, you don't know how much that hurt my son. To this day, I will keep it 100 with you. Our relationship is not the way it should be because it matters. No, they don't forget.
Right.
Yeah, he eventually grew up and built animals because guess what? This the guy I'm going to play stairway with. My mama taught me that. I love her. Then when I wake up and graduate and realize that she was wrong, well, now I'm still staying away from you because I'm embarrassed. Don't do emotion. There go the generation curse again. I'm really embarrassed, Dad, because I feel something like, no, son, I really love you. I don't understand that. I just know I got this thing inside me that feel bad because I did you wrong. And then, mama, I feel bad for you because you turned me. That guy is pretty cool. So you know what? Fuck it. Let me just go find somebody to stay away. There go that loneliness cycle again. It goes full circle. So
Mm-hmm.
it bothers me, and I'm sorry if we off task one now, but it bothers me. Yes, money and all is important. But man, somebody who done lived it, the real thing is shit. The emotional, the spiritual, the physical connection that these kids, and then you wonder why these kids like they are. They got damn joints on their feet, clothes on their damn back, and you can't tell them nothing. Because they
Mm-hmm.
don't learn. The finances was the only thing important. It wasn't the bond, it wasn't the relationship, it wasn't family.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's so bad about it? Now when you start having these issues and baby issues, now it starts all over again down because now we want to point the finger. Who's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody was perfect. The child just got that
Right.
way. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to be quiet. Female, quit blaming the father. If you done had that child out that man's life, it ain't no damn way that bad habits could come from the father. He wasn't around, remember? So you can't have it both ways. You can't
Mm-hmm.
say he was not in your life, but then the bad problem, what he got it from his dad. How in the hell that makes sense?
Yeah. No, real talk, man.
We have to
It's
quit giving, I'm just saying, we got to
crazy.
quit giving space just based on gender. These are excellent questions that we need to sit down and talk. And that's why we do this podcast for y'all, man. To learn the power of sitting down and get an understanding. Because we miss so much. Now men aren't giving this space, Diana. This is a hard conversation to have because a lot of times, like Frankie did, you know what you want to say, but is it going to be believable? What's the value of
Mm-hmm.
truth if you believe it, no one's going to believe it? What's your value when the world tells you your value is nothing but resources? And we ain't even talk about this. So, well, if you just don't have it, come on.
Yeah.
That's like I said. It's the perception versus the reality.
Women can go out and get all type of government assistance. And ain't too much government assistance out there. Matter of fact, government assistance is incentivized
And
to
then
household.
let me put that into play too. Again, y'all know I work for the Dallas County Sheriff Department. I used to serve
Yeah,
homes.
so a lot of times men
That
stay
used
away
to
because they're
be
picked out.
that used to be the number one deal, especially serving warrants, because like with domestic issues and stuff like that, you don't look at the physical address. You always try to read the report if it's a report with that warrant, and you try to figure out where she stay. Because guess what? He back over there. So with these things, man, you can threaten that woman, and this is what and it's a catch-22 when y'all go get on government assistance. For the women too. You could go back, be like, hey, we know you're here, and this ain't even got to be domestic violence. This could be any type of you got to have like a felony or whatever. Hey, we know you're here. If we catch him in there, guess who we're gonna tell? We're gonna tell housing. Guess who we gonna tell everybody you're gonna be off all these benefits because guess who you harboring in the future. So that's always a key thing. And then also law aspect of it too is guess what? That woman can call your PO and your parole or probation officer and just threaten you on a whim. Like, yeah, he over here doing this, and this has happened. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But this has happened. It just call up, threaten them, bam, probation violation, just like that. Just like that. And these, like I said, these are just some of the things guys deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just like a harsh reality of it.
And Frank, let me
So
say this. For those who conveniently say follow the letter of the law, I smile when I hear that. Because to me it moves the goalpost based off the gender. Because here's the thing, a standard custody paperwork when it comes to child support also says this. And it's amazing this part is looked over. Same way third, fifth, seventh weekends, every other opposite holiday. But what it also says, the amount you agree upon that the judge agrees to, you assume all of the financial responsibilities. It literally says it. Go look it up in whatever state you're in. So see that, and I say that not trying to start a gender war, but what I'm saying, we put so much on that one aspect. Because it says that. I'm a deadbeat father. Wait a minute. You agreed to me to leave, not want me there. I ain't talking about the assholes now. That's what the paperwork is for. I'm not a good father. Let me go, and this is what I have to pay, and you will assume everything. That's literally what the paperwork says. But then when reality, and I encourage everybody to just take a self-inventory of self, wherever you at on that totem pole. Now, if they're an asshole, then put their ass on paper. But be honest. If you got your agreement and you signed off on it, then when life happens and life outgrows that decision you made, no, Frank, ain't no takebacks.
At all.
Ain't no takebacks. Because a lot of men, and I have to say this, we understood the assignment that it's going to take more than resources. I don't think any real man don't understand that as long as you have a child in this world, your pocket's going to be, they're going to be in your pocket if you love your child. But what often gets lost in the conversation, their spiritual upbringing, their emotional upbringing. You don't hear too many people arguing about that until the child gets into trouble, or the child grows up in a teenage year and that starts to be exploited. Darren, you ever saw that? You ever saw them topics on any child custody papers? I ain't never seen them topics. So that's why I say, y'all, and I'm gonna get off my horse. Start from A. Educate yourself what's most important in the first place. Because fellas, you come out the gate trying to, like I said, what the material, that's what's going to be quote unquote important in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get mad when your child has all these other issues and things that so. Well, look what y'all made important. If you make important to yourself, understanding your own emotions, your own feelings, what it is to be in a relationship, in a healthy relationship with yourself, like Donna said, is this person good for me short term, long term? Did I have them type of conversations? Shit, if I'm asleep with them, at least I need to wrap up, or do I want to sleep? Like, if you ain't having those conversations without excuses, then you at least remove, or at the very least minimize, the after effect where we now dealing in this dysfunction. And if you one of those men out there that find yourself in that situation, man, worst case scenario, you just got to have that conversation with that child when you get an opportunity. But again, like I said, just to stay in something messed up, find out it's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the child, or like Frankie said, because I need someone to stay and go, man, look, I'll do bad by myself. I know that's a cliche. That child just got to have a conversation. And watch this. What I will not do is continue to allow that child grow up and see, like Diana said, now I'm at fault. And that's what a lot of good men do. You stay for all them bullshit. Man, excuse me, I'm trying not to cuss. Those BS reasons. And now what the child would have had a good example, guess what? You still arguing that child don't give a damn. I just see both y'all arguing.
Yeah.
You slam the door.
And man,
no love being shown, no touching, no kissing,
none of that.
nothing healthy.
Frankie say all the time, and I don't know if he'll expound on this. Even time when he's a servant, he got to come in knowing this lady wrong. But guess what? Law say the man got to go. Man got to go downtown. But, man, excuse me, forget that.
And you know what? I will expound on that. It's actually the main aggressor has to go. But with these and like Jay said, this Texas, man. So it's like things ain't gonna play into the guy fate. So
let's keep
as men in law enforcement, and this is one of those things Jay's always allude to. It's like it's ingrained in us. As a man, you gonna go check like, hey man, just hey, what you got? Get that, hey, leave. And we know he ain't the
Right.
He ain't the main aggressor. It not trust it, and this is very few instances I've had to tell a female, hey man, hey look, you gotta hey kick rocks. Or hey, come on, you gotta go. You gotta go. Very few instances, but more instances where you tell that man, even though you know in the report, even when he called, like, hey, and that is a shame. You know what I'm saying? Because like, hey, he didn't start nothing. And by the time you get there, you know, it'll escalate to where it looked like he is, but the call came from that guy saying, hey man, y'all gotta, hey, she gotta get up out of here. And then when you get there, like, hey, no, I ain't leaving. I pay the bills. This mine. She just, and like, hey, just calm down, play, because it could go 10 times worse. So I served a warrant. Honest to God, truth, this was in the report, man. And this and this is why we wanted to go serve the warrant. Because, you know, as men, and what the warrant, key phrase in this mug said, you gonna leave all this. This is what the chick told the dude. You gonna leave all this. They stay in an apartment over in North Dallas somewhere. But we sitting there looking at the report like that. She said that she gotta look like a 10. Hey, we finna go serve this one first. So we get there, man. Like I said, man, earlier, I said, man, you don't look at the address that's given. You go read the report and find out where the chick stay, where the female stay. So we found out she was in the apartment in North Dallas. Man, we get there. You're like, hey man, such and such here? No, he ain't here. So we look for him in the closet, man. Find him in the closet, we get him out. All right, let's roll, player. So we in the car, we talking to him like, man, what's up, man? He like, man, bro, all I did was pick her up and move her from the door. He said the last time I just went out the fucking balcony, but I was like, man, I ain't doing that shit no more. I might fuck around and break my leg. So I just gradually moved out the way of the door and walked out the door, and she gonna file this on me, man. I was like, damn, bro.
But to me, that goes back again to where being proactive is better than reactive, right? Like, and I must keep saying what Dana said. There is no justification for staying in a bad relationship. In any turmoil that I have to go through will get better with me putting myself in a better space. And I think we as men, that's our pride.
Mm-hmm.
We can name whatever reason. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. That woman is being her. There is not anything you're gonna do in that moment to change them. And like Donna said, they know they have the power, just like shit, men do it too. But we got to look at women know everything we talking about, they know it. And so at the end of the day,
it's like water and oil, man.
We
it
have
just
to
don't
make
mix.
Sure that we're not putting ourselves in a situation that we're justifying, but it's just wrong. Because in that situation, you can put your hands on. Guess what? Yeah, she can say, yeah. In the state of Texas, we know what way to go here. You black too. And we show up. Yeah, it might lose your damn life. Let's just keep it 100. But again, I'm trying to drive this point home because I think we as men had lived with our pride so long, we don't know how dangerous it is.
James,
even when we're right.
What's my saying, man? Hey, when you do it too much, it's labeled as insanity, man.
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing.
Yeah, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Yeah, that's definitely insanity.
Man.
100%.
And us as men, man, dealing with this very topic, man, we are insane.
Insane.
We are insane.
I always say this in this podcast, we don't script what we're going to say. But I really appreciate Diana opening and giving this space for men to say that. Like this one playing, I didn't know that Diana was going to, got me up here shedding tears and whatnot, but it is what it is. Let's normalize that. Right? Because think about it, there could have been a lot of rebuttal on here. And I ain't putting words in Diana's mouth. Diana can say what she wants to. But to have a space where let's just hear it. I think that's another thing. Like when you, like she said, you get on Facebook right now, you're gonna hear a female story. Normalize. It's gonna be empathy. People gonna really genuine help. When
Yeah.
men, the main thing you might get, it'll be all
And
right.
what did you do?
All right, dude, suck it up. You'll be out. No, no. When I saw my son at 2 years old, and he cried to the point how you gonna be okay?
Right.
You can't go without seeing your child one day. Why me being a male is so different or hard to understand?
Mm-hmm.
See how it's so easy to be dismissive? So what we do down, like we said in one of our previous episodes,
Close off.
deal with that hurt, I'll shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I talk about it, and this just the God honest truth, because we imperfect, not justifying it. I don't want to get to a level where I do something wrong.
Yeah.
And part of my emotional intelligence, knowing me, I gotta wrap that one up. And even that's counterproductive.
It is.
Real.
And I will say this too. I always come back to generational or generational lessons or generational teaching, because that's embedded since the beginning of the time. So with some of you guys, you have to go back and talk to your fathers, talk to your uncles, talk to your grandfathers. And some of them will set you straight, like, hey man, at the time it was this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And that was all I had to teach you and to tell you. Because as men, I believe men are kind of like teachers. That's how we get through things, because we have to show, like, hey, do this, that, this, and the other, and then you got to do this. When you go to your grandfather, like, hey man, how you do this? And he gonna open his hood, talk about cars. He gonna show you. We are teachers. So not to say, and me and Jay always go back and forth on this. Not that I'm teaching you wrong. I'm teaching you what I know and what are of the times. But like I said, if you go back and talk to them, they're like, hey, yeah, I taught you this way, that way, because that's all I knew. But I didn't tell you to stay that way. I also told you sometimes you're gonna have to adapt. My father gave me this talk, man. And not saying that every father gonna give you this talk, but if you do go back and talk to these guys, like I said, fathers, uncles, grandfather, older brothers, if you talk to them a lot, you know what I'm saying? They'll tell you, like, hey, this is what it was. Now, when you navigate this adulthood, hey, the things that was popping back in my day, it might not be the same. You might can't do what I can do. So you're gonna have to adjust. You know what I'm saying? I just gave you the bare basics. And you either take some of what I taught you and go on, or you gotta adjust, or you gotta get with the times. And I think this is what the men in our audience should take with them. You have to be able to adjust. Don't always go off well, granddaddy did this, or pops was like this, and it was this, that, and the other. He did this, and mom didn't go nowhere. No, that might not work nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They knew how to deal with their relationship their own way, and that could have been toxic at best for that. But they knew how to deal with it themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you in a relationship, it's not mom and daddy relationship. It's you and your significant other relationship, and y'all know when to call it quits or try to work things out and keep this thing going.
And
So,
frankly, and Diana, I think also as men, we have to quit trying to live down labels that are lies. Labels that we're given the attack or the known to hurt us. We have to quit quit taking on that fight for no reason, almost like fighting the air. Because I think a lot of the after effect, I would say, is really self imposed. Like we talked about
Mm-hmm.
here last night, we're trying to not be. People gonna talk about you regardless. Like people gonna have they say so. You gonna have the pocket of women, all men, and you gonna have the pocket of men, all women. But the reality of it is, if you know who you are and you for showing yourself and you doing your learning, your healing, like quit trying to prove something that's not even there. Sometimes you just got to learn to live with it. And I'm so honest about that situation, like we say with children. I'd rather have that conversation with my son and my daughter, right? If nothing
Mm-hmm.
else, that's going to be a long period, and hopefully they stay in your life. But I'd rather have that conversation to stop that generational curse than to justifiably give them a bad example. And then when they don't listen to either one of us, your child out there in the world anyway.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, man, I wanted to turn it back over to you, Dana. But yeah, I do appreciate this much needed space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I do think that the space is most definitely needed. Like I said, essentially, it's always us women talking about almost everything that's pretty much going on in and out of our lives. But a lot of times men aren't so forthcoming, whether it's pride, ego, or fear of being judged, or just
Yeah.
not wanting to be vulnerable, um, or wanting to be the machine, right? Uh, I think you just need to get out of that headspace. It's okay to be tough in a sense, but sometimes being tough, doesn't get you to all the places you think it's going to get you to. I mean, after a while, you're going to break at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Even the strongest of us, we break. We all bleed the same. So,
Yeah.
essentially, just having a space or being in a space to where that is available, I do always encourage that, and I also do encourage men in your men groups to also make that space available where that vulnerability can also be gauged as well, because I do know there are spaces where men are friends with people and they just can't have those conversations, and to me it's just so mind-blowing, because like, why are you friends if you can't talk about the hard stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
being able to have the same type of space that we as women have, those spaces are available to men too. I just think that, again, a lot of times pride and ego and fear of judgment gets in the way, and you just want to walk around like you're the biggest baddest person, and then that day you fall or you falter and everybody's looking at you like, yeah, buddy, what's going on? I mean,
Yeah.
you just got to get up and keep moving, instead
Yeah.
of the ladder of, hey man, I saw you fall back there, here I am to catch you, or whatever. Are you gonna brush them off, or are you gonna let them hold you? You know what I'm saying? So I think
You
it was good.
you cannot, men, you cannot identify a real problem with your representative. I can be around my frat brothers and Alpha. I can be around my Masonic brothers. I can be around all these group of men being that representation. But the more we be that representation, the further we're going to lose ourselves.
Hmm. And
But this is a thing too, and I think what was this? It might have been 2 or 3 episodes ago. Like I said, when you use these words like representative or represent or things of that term, guess what? Is that was that really your friend to begin with? You know?
But that's why I said we got to look at self. Because see, here's the thing. You really don't know. Because and
Mm-hmm.
it's true story. I remember growing up poor when I got to college, I created a representative that I gave the people. Watch this. It's not their fault if they accepted that.
Yeah.
See, when I say go back to A, now, yeah, they're not good friends, right? They're ultimately associates. but I never gave them a chance to be friends to the
Friends. Yeah.
real because I never gave them the real.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. M through Z, yeah, they're
Yeah.
not right because they never got to know the true me. So even those in there who
Right.
probably wanted to be my Jan, you gave your representative because you didn't have a relationship with yourself. I have a poem called "Running, Running."
Mm-hmm.
You run from your skeleton so much to where in your alone time, your skeletons catch up with you and your demons catch up with you, and I'm on the move again. So it's like you
Yeah.
run in a circle.
Yep.
And so when you finally find a homeboy, a frat brother, or even a girl that's good, you you lose yourself in them. You're not giving yourself to them because you don't know who you're giving. And that's why a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times when you find a woman like Dinah said that's healing and nurturing, we don't understand. That's why we get up every time. Because that's probably the first time that anybody, even more than ourselves, that saw our real and called us out on our shit.
It is.
And sometimes that is so new to us. There go that pride. No, down you. We're gonna dismiss that. We're gonna
Yeah.
make that. We're gonna throw it back on her. And so again,
Mhm.
till we learn ourselves, there is no outside entity that can control the narrative. Can things happen bad? But again, I'd rather things go bad and me make an adjustment with my real self proactively than to be reactively. Donna said some while ago. Could you imagine being hurt as a male and you still don't have the answer?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that, fellas. Let's take the child, for example, out of your life. You hurt, but you still ain't doing the thing that you can be a father now based on the reality. You're trying to create still. Do you know how much hurt and pain that's going to be? Now that's selfish. You got to think about the child.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I paid a lawyer, Dana. True story. Having issues with when I get the child. Standing before the court. Took day off. Lost money right there. Paid a lawyer. Standing before court. And I'm paying for everybody, this whole party. Guess what the lawyer said? Guess what the judge said? State of Texas. By the time this case come up on my docket, let's see that you'll have, she can give you the, she can give you the child again at those other days. And by the time you get to court, she's following the court order.
Mhm.
Do you see? I don't pay for a lawyer, took out work for you to tell me the loophole in which she's exploiting. So that's why I say, female, don't, we get lazy with that term, deadbeat father, whatnot. No, sometimes you gotta make it a business. If that loophole is that easy, well, I'm gonna pay for a lawyer, take out what all is, and by the time it come up on the docket, well, I let you just playing that game. Well, I let you see him here and there. So when I go to court, well, taking I gave him, and then when you leave court, nah, nah, that's not
Mm-hmm.
realistic. And you driving yourself crazy. And like I said again, you don't know yourself, and then you do something that you may regret. And guess what? Child finna suffer anyway.
Mhm.
Now you fit the narrative, Frankie.
Yep.
Now you in the system. Now there's a justifiable reason to keep the child away from you. We don't think. We got to be proactive when we think about that. And I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna shut up. Even when it comes to talking bad about the mother of your child, that can be very detrimental. We get so hurt in that loneliness and being alone and not being with her no more, then not being with the child anymore, because that's a different type of loneliness, right? That
Yeah.
Mhm.
when we get around the child, and I can't stand when this happens. Let me tell him. No, you ain't telling them the truth. You're trying to make them feel your hurt and pain because you need someone to lick your wound. That child should not be used for that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's still his mother, right? There's still a time and a place when you can have those conversations, right?
Yeah.
That child still got to go back and live with that mama. Don't you? If you ain't in that child's life or she's keeping you from it, you damn sure want to have one of the parents that the child can go and talk to, right? So don't think that
Mm-hmm.
always the answer. Also, where we justify talking bad about them, keep that conversation simple until you guys at a level where you
Yeah,
feel that that child can understand it, if there's even a need to do it, you know. So
and
yeah, but a
this
lot of damage,
goes
a lot of
to
things can come out of not monitoring that alone time and that loneliness that come out and just filling it in with voids, you know.
yeah. Now, going off what Jay said too, this goes to both sides, man. Audience, please pay attention to this, man. I used to tell my mom and my dad this, especially in my teenage years, like, hey man, look, I don't want to hear nothing about Baze Baze. I love both y'all equally. So don't tell me what she doing. Tell me why. Don't tell me what he doing and this, that, and the other. That ain't y'all business. Ain't my business. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I love both of y'all. You
And
know.
even if the child believe you, it's short lived, right? Like the child
Mm-hmm.
just learns how to use and play you all against each other. But ultimately, when they go out
That's
and
all the child got. Yeah.
get their friends and stuff, you're just pawns, right? And now, like I said again, you lost both parent, right? But again, that's what happened when we make it about just the money and stuff like that. Now, when this child needs the emotional skills set, the social skills, and
They
all
don't have
that,
it.
no one's literally there, and then we wonder why they learn it from their homeboys and homegirls and things of that sort. Like
Or
we
why
didn't
they
see
acting.
that
Or
same
why
thing,
they acting out.
right? You know, so that's
Yeah.
what it's all about. It's about taking that accountability with men. Alone
Mm-hmm.
versus lonely part two: the mistake of staying to
Mm-hmm.
avoid being lonely, fellas. We can't justify that. I think we've had a number of examples tonight that being alone is okay. Learning who you are is needed in your alone time. When you with somebody, you're learning that other person. It's okay. And if you're lonely because you miss somebody, then it's okay. Get help with that. Like we said
Yeah.
tonight, talk to someone, get counts, whatever. But definitely don't fill that void just to fill that void, overlooking the potential damage that you can be doing to yourself, to that person. Like we talked about, if children get involved, like it's all it's all going to be hurtful when it's all said and done. You know, sometimes you got to get in the space in that alone time and just learn yourself, learn who you are and what you're giving to that person. And when you see the signs in the whole 9 yards, just like Donna said, women talk about all the time. Know your worth more than what the stereotype the world say your worth is, paying bills and all that. No, if I see this is my peace of mind, I don't give a damn if I have 2 cents in my pocket. My peace of mind is not worth you being in my life. Donna, you put a quote somewhere. I can't think of the quote, but you put a quote somewhere that it just resonated to me. But no, if I gotta be bad, I'll be bad by myself. Then let me do that, right? There is no justification for staying with someone who don't have your best interest in mind.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said and done, Dana, I'll let you have the last words before we close out. This has been a great one, but thank you for giving us the space. If you have anything else on your agenda on your list, are you done?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Again, this was good. So I think we finalized it.
Okay.
Bang. Stamped.
Donna, you do a great job, and I will say this to the public audience. I think you are a great example, not even just in relationship. I just think in the man and woman dynamic, I think you are a great example of the model of how it should be to allow the very thing that women want men to be open and all that. In this space right here, I think it is a perfect example to just, and I know it sounds so open simply, oh y'all just talking, but no, to talk with intention and not to talk with reactive emotion. So I say that to say I really thank you seriously for this space. A lot of this stuff, again, I didn't know that we were gonna get on that level, but to look back and just like she's not mad or she's not this or she's not that, like it really is rewarding. You guys, this has been a great episode here, Unfiltered Kings podcast, part two, act alone versus lonely, the mistake of staying to avoid being lonely. Man, we got some work to do. Don't be ashamed to do the work. And if the negative terms fit you, whether we learned it through subconscious or if it was taught or we just accepted, I don't own it. Be accountable. That's where it starts at being proactive instead of being reactive. There's never such thing as doing right by keeping yourself in a bad situation. And we touch tonight is you ain't even doing it for the kids. You're doing it for your own
No,
selfish actions,
do it for
right?
yourself.
Like do it for
Yeah.
yourself. That child has a long life. If God said the same to live, hopefully you have that conversation. If not, then you got to let God do some things. But as long as you
Hmm.
keep yourself in a bad situation, you're not hurting anybody, right? So I think down about giving the fellows an opportunity to look ourselves in the mirror and challenging us to look ourselves in the mirror, but then also allowing us to kind of express ourselves and see and say what we see on the other side, right? Like there's no perfect gender and normalizing that, that's not disrespectful and things of that sort. And so I look forward to the responses from this. You guys, you can find us on social media, Unfiltered Kings Podcast. Download the Podbean app. That is where we are at. That's our host app. Download the Podbean app in your Apple store, your Android store. Search for Unfiltered King Podcast. Please like, share, comment. It helps us a lot. It helps us reach people like yourself. We definitely appreciate you guys for rocking with us. We're also on Instagram and what's the other one? The TikTok. And we'll be
TikTok.
coming to
TikTok. There
Twitter.
you go.
We'll be coming to Twitter. And we're also on YouTube. So you'll see these live videos. If you want to see this video right here, you'll see it on YouTube. Podbean is more for the audio crowd. So pick your pause, and we're there. We're everywhere, and we're still growing, man. And so this has been another great one, man. Thank you guys for hanging with us. And remember, if you want to comment, you want to continue the conversation, hit us up on our Facebook page, Unfiltered King Podcast. If you want to share something and you don't want to share it to the crowd, inboxes. We keep all that stuff private. It's monitored by for our eyes only. And if you want to be a part of the show, you want to advance the conversation, give your
Hit us
side
up.
of it, or you see a topic that you want to do, man, that you think men and women can talk better to each other instead of at each other, reach out to us, man. You can hit us up in our individual boxes on social media. With that being said and done, look, we're going to get out of here. You guys, I appreciate you guys so much as the podcast team. Carlos couldn't be with us, but I'm glad that he got a little bit of good news. He has been dealing with some sickness in the family, and I think things are turning for the better. And so he had to step away, of course, and put his duties on with that. So we definitely keep him in our prayers. But other than that, this has been Unfiltered Kings Podcast. Another episode. We'll talk to you guys later.